senses a meal. But he is a cautious hunter. The dragon tries a subtle change of pitch. The prey sounds distressed. An injury, perhaps. The tiger falls for it hook, line, and sinker. One less rival, one more meal. The kill is taken to a clearing. The forest dragon has adapted its ancient weapon into a culinary tool. Cooked meat is far more easily digested. But the flames draw another mammal near. A species that will prove a far greater threat to her survival.
I came here to expose a hoax, and suddenly a whole reptile family is coming to life. What a family. Of all the prehistoric giants, only yours survived the KT catastrophe. And you weren't the only dragon. Seems there was a forest-dwelling Asian dragon, a sea dragon too, just like the myths. Could there have been others? I need more time. The helicopter will be with us any minute, and soon we'll be heading back to England. And once this thing's back in the museum, I won't get a look in. Until then, we'll keep scanning.
You need to look at this. I've just noticed these fragments here.
What are they? Crushed ribs?
No, the rib cage is totally intact.
But they're bone fragments, right? What are they? That explains the weird proportions. Of course. It's got 4 legs.
And 2 wings.
6 limbs. No vertebrate that ever lived has 6 limbs. It's true. Every land-based vertebrate on the planet has 4 limbs. Front feet, back feet, arms and legs. And airborne creatures too. Feet and wings. They all have 4 limbs. But not this dragon. It's got 6. It can't be a fake. Not now. But if those legs are for real, then they'll show up in its DNA. Oh my. Now that's some freaky mutation. This creature has a genetic adaptation unlike anything in the animal kingdom, and wouldn't you know it? In the gene responsible for generating limbs. And it's here in mythology, too. The Chinese, the Aztecs, Polynesians, they all drew images of creatures with the same adaptation, giant 6-limbed reptiles. The clue was there all along. How could I have missed it? These drawings aren't wild imagination. They're records. These primitive people were telling us something. We weren't listening. And if the images are accurate, then there are even more evidence that there were many types of dragon, and they lived everywhere on the planet. Okay, we've got evidence for a marine dragon, the sea serpent of legend. A forest dragon that lived in Asia. The Chinese dragon that adorns 1,000 pots. And you, well, let's call you the mountain dragon. Have you left your mark on European folk history? Romania, dragon iconography. Here you are, recorded in stained glass. The locals called you the devil from the mountains. And the legend conforms pretty much to type, terrorizing local folk, raiding livestock, breathing fire. A monumental battle to the death. Is this a 15th century photograph of you? So the local farmers gave you a name, the Mountain Devil. And what kind of devil were you? We're down to the wire. They'll be moving the body out any minute, and I'll have to leave with it. One last check. Could we have missed something? What's that in the heart?
That's something embedded in the right atrium.
That's not organic matter. This could be really important. Unequivocal evidence that dragons and humans were at war.
Throughout the age of mammals, dragons survived. But their survival was precarious. Fire was the ace that kept them one step ahead of the competition. But in time, a new mammal emerged. Small, vulnerable, but supremely intelligent. Physically, man was no match for a dragon. But he recognized the possibilities of fire. With fire, mankind could clear forests for farmland, mold metal into savage weapons. In the evolutionary blink of an eye, mankind was pushing the most deadly predator in the natural history of our planet to the verge of extinction. They had turned the dragon's most potent weapon against them. The stories of these epic battles were recorded in folklore around the world, culminating here in Romania. A dark story passed down through generations. The story of a demon on a mountaintop, and of knights drawn into the mist, never to be seen again. Until now.
Humans and dragons. Mortal enemies. If these knights went looking for a dragon, it looks like they found one. This isn't ice damage, this is carbonization. These men were burned alive by a dragon for sure, but not ours. Our dragon never breathed fire. We haven't finished yet.
Yes, we have.
Look. Look. Carbon. I found it on one of those bodies out there. Those bodies have been scorched. They're right, of course. It's the find of the century, and we can't risk it turning to mush. But the mountains are calling me. What did those men find up there?
They're ready for it!
This section here. Am I misreading this? Is this a reproductive system? These are oviducts, right? Small ovaries. The female. Yet there's no evidence of follicular activity. The reproductive tract is immature.
It's a juvenile.
It's a baby. That clinched it. The creature in the autopsy room was a baby. The cave wasn't just the scene of a random crime. It was a nest. The local myth is starting to sound remarkably like an accurate verbal account of a real event. The knights weren't killed by our dragon. They were killed by an adult, perhaps defending its young. A dragon corpse can tell us how their bodies worked, but a nest, it can tell us so much more, how they lived. My guess, up in those mountains, we'll find evidence for a dragon family.
Tanner is about to unravel a medieval tragedy. It is the 15th century, and a mountain dragon is under threat. The distant ancestors of this female mountain dragon fed on the wild herds that roamed the vast Asian grasslands. But the herds were tamed by man. For dragons, they were no longer fair game. They were livestock. And so the dragons that gorged themselves on the plains have been driven to the remote regions of Europe. And in this remote place, wild game is scarce. Today, she is hunting the rarest creature on Earth, but not to eat. Today, she's looking for a mate. She spreads her scent throughout her territory. Strong winds carry the pheromones south. Female dragons mate once every 7 years, yet this mature female has never seen a male dragon. Nevertheless, every year when she comes into season, instinct commands her to play out the rituals of attraction. Her season is almost finished, and the window will close for another year.